Did you know that you can manifest what you want into reality using just 6 simple stages? In this video, I'm going to explain exactly what the 6 stages are so that you can recognize which stage you're in right now. So I'll share at each of the stages what some of the internal signs are, so things that you'll be feeling, thoughts that you'll be having, and also what some of the external signs are, so things that manifest at each of the 6 stages. This way you'll be able to tell which stage you're in, and I'm also going to share tips for how to move through each of the stages and to the full manifestation of what you want. But first, if you're new here, then welcome. My name is Adrianne. I'm a manifesting coach and intuitive guide, and on my channel we talk about getting into the flow and manifesting with ease. So if that is something you're interested in, I invite you to click the subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you'll be the first to know when I publish new videos. Do you ever feel like it's kind of tricky to manifest what you want? This can be a common feeling. Manifesting can seem kind of mysterious or kind of complicated, but what makes it actually really simple is when we understand it as purely an emotional journey. To make sure that we're all on the same page about this, I want to share a bit of what I would call Manifesting 101. And these few points I want to share and kind of review is, we understand that everything is vibration and that law of attraction brings together vibrations that match. And so in order to create something brand new in our lives, we need to become a vibrational match to what we want. And our emotions indicate to us what we're doing with our vibration. Basically, the better we feel about something, the better it tends to manifest for us. So with that understanding in mind, these are the 6 stages of manifestation, kind of as I have identified them, moving from the first stage, which is where you are vibrational match to the opposite of what you want, all the way up to stage 5, where you're matching what you want, and then stage 6, where you're actually a total match and you are manifesting it. All right, so let's go ahead and get into describing these stages. And so I'll go through each of the stages. If you know for sure that you are not in disbelief or doubt, for example, if you feel like you're more in hope, you already know that, then feel free to skip ahead. I have chapter markers in the description box below so you can navigate easily to the different stages and go ahead and make your way there if you feel like you want to skip any of these previous ones. So I'm going to go through all of the stages just so that we have the full context and you have that as a reference that you can always look back on and understand at any time with what you're manifesting, what stage you might be in. Okay, so stage number 1 is disbelief. And some of the inner signs that you are in this stage is that your dream feels totally unattainable. It feels kind of like a pipe dream. You're telling yourself things like, maybe it's not meant to be, or not meant for me. Those are definitely signs you're more in disbelief about your dream. Another sign is you don't have a clue how to manifest the dream. Nothing is appearing that makes you think like, oh, that's a possible way this could manifest. Another internal sign is you feel very strong negative emotion about the dream because you really want it, but it's feeling kind of impossible to you. The other possibility would be maybe you've gotten used to not believing in the dream so much, so you're kind of avoiding thinking about it at all and avoiding your feelings about it. Another sign is you don't have any motivation to pursue the dream, even though you might see opportunities around you for how you could possibly manifest the dream. You don't believe they'll work out, and you don't believe in your own abilities either. The final sign is you probably get upset, irritated, or annoyed with other people who are manifesting the dream. And then some of the outer signs that we manifest at this stage of disbelief is we'll see lots of real seeming evidence about how things could go wrong, making our dreams seem very unattainable, very unlikely, and unrealistic. And we'll manifest a lack of time, money, or other resources that will seem necessary to pursue the dream. We'll be manifesting lack instead of support and abundance of resources. Also, we'll manifest attracting other people, telling us how hard or unlikely this dream is to manifest. And another outer sign that you're in this stage of disbelief is you find yourself talking to other people about the dream, telling them how hard it is or how unrealistic it is. Yeah, so if you're watching this video, I'm guessing that you're probably not at the stage of disbelief about your dream, but just in case you may be, I want to share some tips for moving out of this stage, because sometimes this stage can be applicable if we have, say, a dream that maybe we had as a child or something, or when we were younger that we kind of gave up on, but it still is really there in our hearts and we told ourselves we couldn't have it. Then yeah, that can be helpful to recognize that we are in the process of manifesting it. We've just kind of for a long time maybe been stuck in this stage of disbelief. And so for each of these stages, I want to share kind of a metaphor for the stage to kind of help with understanding it and looking at it in a new way. And my metaphor for this stage is a seed. And so this is like a seed that you plant in the ground. And kind of the idea behind this is that, say that you want to have fresh fruit, like a fresh fruit bearing tree, like an apple tree or a fig tree. That's what I would choose because figs are my favorite fruit. But like, say that you want this fruit bearing plant, but all you have right now is just this little seed, and you are just looking at this seed and you're like, how could this tiny small seed become this giant apple tree or fig tree or whatever it is? And if you're in disbelief and you're just kind of looking at this tiny seed and you're like, I don't see how that could be possible, so I'm not even willing to try to plant this and nurture it and grow it and see what happens. I am just going to leave this seed alone, and then that potential never gets realized. And so the tip for moving beyond this stage of disbelief is to be willing to plant the seed, to be willing to begin nurturing the seed of potential. Even though it looks really small, it looks really maybe insignificant and unlikely to grow into something as big and amazing as a full apple tree or something, to be willing to go ahead and take that seed of potential and begin to nurture it. Okay, stage number 2 is doubt. So let's cover the internal signs that you might be at this stage. So if you're at this stage, then your dream probably feels possible, but unlikely to manifest. It's probably hard to find the feeling of what it would be like to have what you want, to have the dream manifest. It takes a lot of mental focus or effort to quiet the doubts and imagine your desired end state. Imagine your dream coming true. You probably have some idea of how the dream could manifest, but it doesn't seem very likely to work out, or it really feels like a stretch. Also, at this stage, you probably feel very tempted to procrastinate pursuing the dream because taking action on it feels challenging, uncomfortable, and kind of like you have to force yourself to do it. And the final inner sign at this stage is you keep wanting to put off pursuing the dream for someday when conditions are better, you have more time, money, confidence, or whatever. Okay, let's look at the outer signs that you are potentially in this stage of doubt. The first one is the actions that you do take towards the dream produce frustrating or disappointing results because they're just mirroring that energy of doubt back to you. The second one is similar to disbelief. You'll be manifesting at this stage signs and evidence of how unlikely the dream is to manifest that reinforce your feeling of doubt. And the third outer sign is you're still not attracting the resources that feel necessary to pursue or have the dream, like time, money, confidence, knowledge, skills, connections, etc., which just adds to the feeling of doubt around your ability to have it. All right, let's look at some tips for moving out of this stage of doubt, because this can sometimes be a tricky one to get stuck in around dreams that feel really big or feel very different than what we've manifested in the past. So continuing with the same metaphor that I was using earlier for the disbelief stage, the metaphor for this is you've taken that seed, that fruit tree seed or whatever it is, and actually planted it in the ground. So you've decided to begin in some way kind of nurturing this seed, but so far it hasn't shown any signs of growth. It's just a seed in the ground. And so it's like when we're this energy of doubt, there may be no external signs that are showing us yet the potential of what we want to manifest. And so the tip to move beyond this stage is really putting our focus completely on the internal, taking our focus away from the external, not looking for signs of manifestation, signs of progress in the external yet, but putting our faith in the process of manifestation and being willing to nurture that seed of potential, that dream that's in our hearts, by visualizing it, by imagining it, by thinking positively about it as best we can, just as we would nurture that seed in the ground, knowing that its potential is there to manifest, even if right now it is showing us zero signs of progress. It's kind of the same thing with the dreams that are in our hearts that feel really big and where it could be easy to go into and stay stuck in this stage of doubt about. Okay, let's move on to stage number 3, which is hope. The inner signs that you are at the stage of hope is that your dream is starting to feel very possible, but it still feels unsure, like maybe it will or maybe it won't manifest, so it feels kind of iffy. Second sign is you're starting to realize new reasons to believe in your dream coming true, so more ideas are starting to occur to you around how maybe it really is happening for you. The next sign is it still takes some effort, but you're able to more easily find the feeling of what it would be like to have what you want. And the next sign is there are times when you do feel very enthusiastic about what you're manifesting. And then there's probably other times when you kind of slip back into the discomfort of doubt. And then the final sign is you're starting to receive more clear inspiration from your intuition around what actions to take. You're receiving more inspired action ideas of how you might help the dream along, and also taking those actions is feeling easier than before when you were feeling more doubt or disbelief. And let's look at the outer signs that you may be in this stage of hope. Is the first one is you're manifesting one or more possible ways that the dream could manifest. New opportunities are appearing, or you're finally kind of recognizing the opportunities that have been there all along and they're looking more promising to you. The next sign is you're attracting examples of other people who seem similar to you, who've already manifested the dream, that makes you feel even more hopeful about your ability to do it as well. The third sign is you're manifesting signs and evidence that point to how the dream could be working out, but also you're manifesting signs and evidence that you could use as an excuse to kind of slip back into doubt. The next sign is you're manifesting subtle winks from the universe, signs and synchronicities, versus at later stages when the signs and the synchronicities become even more obvious and undeniable. These are kind of winks and signs and synchronicities where you could say, I don't know, is the universe really trying to give me a message? And you could either use it as a reason to believe, or you could kind of write it off. And then the final outer sign is you're manifesting energetically similar experiences that you can lean into and use to help cultivate belief. And what I mean by energetically similar experiences is just, say, for example, I had a client before who wanted to manifest housing, a new house, and she was manifesting instead, at the time, people asking her to house sit. So she was having a similar experience to having a new house because she was getting to enjoy these new houses for her, but it wasn't exactly what she wanted yet, but it was similar. Okay, and then some tips to move beyond the stage of hope. Again, working with our metaphor of this fruit-bearing seed. So now the seed is starting to show some signs of growth. It started to sprout, it started to break through the soil, and that's kind of the metaphor for this stage of hope, because you're seeing like these signs of progress, but the plant that you have planted, this seed that you've planted, the plant that it's created is still very small. It's still very tender. And so while there is reason to hope you're seeing the growth, there's also reason to doubt that it could actually become this big, beautiful, fruit-bearing tree that you want. And so the what you want to focus on at this stage is because this is a stage where a lot of people can get stuck. They can be focusing on both the reasons to believe and also still the reasons to doubt. And so they stay in kind of this hopeful stage instead of moving into the next stage of solidly believing. The trick at this stage is that you really have to train your focus to put more attention on the reasons to believe that what you want truly is manifesting, and ignore and downplay and try not to focus as much on the reasons to doubt, so that you don't slip back into the doubt stage, but you elevate your vibration into the believing stage. And of course, also at this stage, like pretty much all the stages, you want to keep nurturing that plant, because the plant is growing, but it's still very young. It still needs a lot of attention, needs a lot of nurturance. And of course, in manifesting, we nurture our seeds by using our alignment practices like visualization, like finding the feeling of what we want, like practicing what it would be like to have what we want manifest, so that we can keep normalizing ourselves to that reality and keep aligning our vibration with it. And so, yeah, those are some of the tips for how to successfully navigate the stage of hope, which again is the stage where a lot of people can get stuck for a long time. So it's good to be aware of what some of those important strategies are. Okay, moving on to stage 4, which is belief and the inner signs that you are at the belief stage. The first one is your dream feels possible and likely to manifest at some point. It's starting to feel way more doable. The next sign is you can think of many reasons to believe in the dream coming true, and you have a feeling of confidence that it really is in the process of manifesting. The next inner sign is you're easily able to tune into and feel the feeling of what it would be like to have what you want. The next sign is you feel positive emotion around the dream the majority of the time. And then finally, the final inner sign is you feel a sense of ease and flow around taking action towards the dream. You're receiving clear intuitive guidance around what to do and what not to do in order to help your dream manifest. All right, and then let's look at some of the outer signs that you're at this stage of belief. The first one is you can clearly see one or more ways that the dream could very likely happen. The second sign is you're manifesting signs and evidence of how the dream is very likely to manifest at some point. The third sign is you're manifesting obvious, undeniable, very clear, obvious synchronicities and signs and winks from the universe. The next sign is the actions that you're inspired to take are really paying off. You're seeing progress and positive results, and things are just happening for you, even without you having to take action in support of the dream. The next outer sign is conditions in your life are starting to shift to make it easier for you to pursue the dream. You're manifesting time, money, tools, resources, whatever is necessary for this dream to be realized. The next sign is things that could be in the way of the dream are removing themselves from your reality. Hurdles to the dream are just resolving themselves all on their own. And then the final outer sign that you're at this stage of belief is other people are mirroring this new level of belief. Those people around you who maybe used to doubt you and not believe in what you were manifesting are now really supporting you and believing in you and what you're creating. Okay, continuing on with our metaphor of the fruit-bearing tree. So at this stage of belief, it's like the tree has kind of grown into this young tree, but it's not yet bearing any fruit, which is kind of representing what I'm using to represent the ultimate manifestation that we're going for in this metaphor. But it's like at the belief stage, it's not a little plant anymore. It's not like a little sprout like it was at the hope stage that feels really vulnerable or feels like really iffy about whether or not it's going to actually grow into its full potential. At this stage, your dream is kind of like this tree where it's very believable that it is going to produce the fruit that you want. And so the tips at this stage for how to move beyond to the next really important stage of expectation is really at the stage of belief. You want to, of course, keep doing what you've been doing all along of nurturing this growing seed, this growing manifestation with imagination, with positive feeling, positive thoughts about it, but also you want to avoid some of the hurdles that can happen at this stage, which is impatience. And you do that because like the impatience can happen at this stage because yeah, you're seeing the tree, you're seeing your manifestation really starting to come into reality. It's feeling very believable, it's feeling exciting, but what can slow that process down is a feeling of impatience, a feeling of like, wait, why isn't it happening? It seems so close in some ways, but that feeling of impatience is counter to the energy of having the manifestation, of being in the new reality, so it can slow it down. So in order to counter that, you want to focus instead on the pleasure of the process, the pleasure of the manifesting journey, of enjoying the ways that the universe is really starting to work with you at this stage to bring into reality what you want. And so that's really kind of the antidote to impatience, is just really leaning into enjoying being enmeshed in this process of manifestation and kind of the magic of it, of having the universe be really collaborating with you to bring this heart's desire fully into manifestation. Okay, moving on to the next stage, which is expectation. And so the inner signs at this stage is now your dream feels very possible and highly likely to manifest very soon. It's feeling like the next logical step. The next inner sign is you feel a sense of relaxed ease and confidence about the dream. So you're no longer feeling impatient. You're feeling this ease, this confidence, kind of this calm about the dream. It sort of feels like a done deal already. And then the final sign is the idea of having this dream as part of your reality just feels logical and natural. All right, let's look at the outer signs that you're at this stage of expectation. The first one is you clearly see how this dream could manifest in one or more ways that feel very likely to happen very soon. The second sign is you're manifesting signs and evidence of how likely this dream is to manifest very, very soon. Yeah, so this stage of expectation is usually a very short stage. Once you're actually in that feeling of true kind of expectation and you're feeling kind of this just calm expectancy about this dream, it's really feeling like that next logical step, as Abraham likes to say, then really you're like on the brink of manifestation. And so the metaphor, continuing with our metaphor for this stage, it's like the tree has produced the fruit, but it's not quite ripe yet. It's still kind of green on the tree. So you're seeing the fruit and you're expecting that it's just a little bit of a matter of time. It's just a few days or something, and that fruit is going to ripen and you're going to have the full manifestation. And so the tips at this stage is just, again, continuing with the process of what you've been doing, of nurturing it and just kind of allowing the natural momentum that you've been cultivating to carry you. And usually this is a very short stage. Once you get to expectation, then you are really on the brink of manifestation. And then finally, of course, stage 6 is the manifestation. I don't have internal and external signs for this one because, yeah, basically the sign is that it's manifested. The metaphor, of course, for this one is you're actually able to pick the fruit off the tree. It's fully ripe, it's delicious, you're able to enjoy it. And so, yeah, this is basically the stage that we're wanting to get to. But I really like that metaphor of the tree because sometimes, yeah, that can really help to keep in mind what stage we are at, and that we don't want to try to pick that fruit, for example, when we're at the expectation stage or the belief stage, when maybe the fruit has just barely started to form. We want to wait until it's fully ripened, and when the manifestation is just naturally and easily coming into our reality, when the fruit is going to be totally delicious to enjoy. Anyway, hopefully that metaphor resonates for you as much as it does for me. But yeah, those are basically my 6 stages of manifestation. So I hope you found that helpful for perhaps identifying where you might be right now with whatever you're currently wanting to manifest. And if you did find it helpful, I would love to know kind of what stage do you see yourself in right now, and what do you think are some of the things that are going to be helpful for moving beyond that stage. Did you like the tips that I shared? Do you have any other ideas? Definitely share any thoughts or comments or questions about these stages that we covered in the video in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you would like more manifesting tips and tricks and inspiration from me, then I definitely recommend downloading my free guide to the 7 habits of highly magical people. I have a link to this in the description box below this video so that you can check it out if you are interested. And also in the description box below, I have links to learn more about my coaching, my psychic reading sessions, and also my low-cost workshop that I have available for download immediately. It is called Spot on Intuition, and it will teach you exactly how to use pendulum dowsing to talk to your higher self about what you're manifesting, about your day-to-day choices in life, about basically anything that you want. So that's really cool. It's also in the description box below this video. If you enjoyed this video, then I definitely recommend checking out this next video all about how to tell when what you want will manifest. It goes deeper into some of the topics that we just kind of touched on in this video. So definitely check it out if you're interested. And thank you again so much for joining me today. Until next time, happy manifesting.